The countdown has started, and most people don't even know it. Before June 5th, shelves across the country will start quietly emptying. Not because of panic, but because of supply chain limits, seasonal demand spikes, and behind-the-scenes distribution cuts. If you wait to act, the signs will hit too late. Empty aisles, limit 2 per customer signs, and prices that jump overnight. In this video, we're revealing 10 essential items that are expected to disappear first, so you can stock up smartly before the crowds wake up. Most people won't notice until it's too late. Subscribe now and stay one step ahead, because preparation starts when the shelves are full, not when they're bare. Trends don't lie, and if you've been watching closely, you already know something's off. Quiet changes in inventory, delayed restocks, and sudden price hikes are all pointing to one thing. Certain items are vanishing faster than they're being replaced. It's not a panic buy yet, but as we approach June 5th, the pressure will hit a breaking point. Whether it's food, fuel, or everyday essentials, this list isn't guesswork. It's what you'll wish you bought ahead of time. Let's break down the 10 items most likely to disappear first, before demand explodes. Number 1, feminine hygiene products. They're some of the most overlooked survival essentials. And in a crisis, feminine hygiene products are among the first to disappear from shelves. Whether it's tampons, pads, liners, or menstrual cups, these aren't just comfort items. They're critical to health, dignity, and daily function for millions. And right now, the signs of a renewed shortage are already visible. Let's start with the why. Feminine hygiene products rely on multiple vulnerable points in the supply chain. Cotton crops, rayon fiber manufacturing, medical-grade plastics, and labor-intensive packaging. Add in rising shipping costs and recent disruptions in cotton harvests due to unpredictable weather in key producer regions, and you've got a fragile system that doesn't take much to collapse. In fact, in both 2022 and 2023, we saw these products vanish from shelves in North America due to supply bottlenecks. Brands like Tampax and Playtex couldn't keep up with demand, and smaller store brands followed. Restocking delays stretched for weeks. The warning is simple. History is already repeating itself. As of early 2025, several pharmacy chains have reported intermittent outages of major name-brand tampons and liners. Online prices have risen sharply, and bulk packaging options are disappearing. Once June hits and summer travel, outdoor events, and supply chain tightening escalate, demand will spike, and shelves will clear out. Here's what to do now. Stock a 3 to 6 month supply for every female in your household. Don't forget alternatives like reusable menstrual cups or cloth pads, especially for long-term resilience. While they require cleaning, they can save space and eliminate dependency on store restocks. Pro tip: feminine hygiene products also double as emergency medical tools. Pads can be used for wound dressing, absorbing blood, and padding splints. Tampons can be used as improvised nosebleed stoppers or for packing wounds, though this is only for trained scenarios. And beyond their practical uses, these products preserve normalcy and comfort, 2 things that matter deeply in high-stress environments. Because when panic buying starts, these won't just be women's items, they'll be supply chain casualties. And the cost of not having them? Painful, frustrating, and dangerous. That's why they're not optional. They're non-negotiable survival gear, and they belong at the top of your pre-crisis list. Number 2, aluminum cans. You wouldn't expect aluminum cans to be a crisis item, but they are. From soft drinks and beer to canned vegetables and soups, everything stored in aluminum packaging is now on the clock. As summer approaches, the supply chain behind that shiny, everyday material is already showing signs of strain. Here's what's happening. Aluminum is in high demand across multiple industries. Construction, electronics, energy, and packaging is at the bottom of the priority list. Global supply chains for raw aluminum have been hit by rising fuel prices, import restrictions, and manufacturing slowdowns. Add in surging summer demand for beverages, and it's a perfect storm. During the pandemic, we saw this play out firsthand. Soda and beer companies were forced to limit production of less popular flavors, shift to plastic bottles, or reduce inventory altogether. Why? Not because of a lack of product, but a shortage of cans. Fast forward to 2025, analysts are already warning of tightening inventory. Distributors are focusing on core SKUs, top-selling items, and skipping seasonal or specialty items. That means fewer options, more sellouts, and higher prices, especially on canned beverages and staple pantry goods like soups, beans, and chili. What's the move? First, stock up now on your go-to canned foods and drinks. Don't wait until Memorial Day or June barbecues spark the rush. If you have a preferred soda or beer, or rely on canned goods as part of your prep, buy in bulk while variety is still available. Second, consider alternative packaging. Buy soups in cartons, sauces in glass jars, and beverages in plastic or powdered formats. They store differently but may be easier to find when lines dry up. Pro tip, save empty aluminum cans. They're useful for DIY stoves, candle lanterns, water boiling, and even signaling. In survival, they're more than trash. They're tools. Because when people hear shortage, they think food, not containers. But a can shortage means products get delayed, skipped, or priced out of reach. And when the shelf space is empty, it won't matter what's in demand. If the can isn't there, the product isn't coming. That's why aluminum packaged goods should be on your radar now, before the summer crunch hits and shelves go silent. Number 3, baby formula and diapers. Few products are more essential or more vulnerable than baby formula and diapers. These aren't just convenience items. For millions of households, they are daily lifelines. And when they disappear from shelves, the consequences are immediate and serious. Back in 2022, the U.S. experienced one of the worst formula shortages in recent history, driven by supply chain breakdowns and factory recalls. Even with improved manufacturing oversight since then, the ripple effects are still being felt in 2025. Many parents are still struggling to find their preferred brands or formulas due to ongoing global production inconsistencies, shipping delays, and inflation-driven supply limits. And it's not just a formula. Diapers are quietly slipping into scarcity again, as raw materials like fluff pulp, SAP, superabsorbent polymer, and elastic materials face rising production costs and port congestion. Combine that with rising oil prices, affecting plastics, and reduced manufacturing output in Asia, and you're looking at the early signs of a serious squeeze. With summer just around the corner, and with it vacation season, daycare surges, and regional outages, retailers are already limiting inventory restocks to key store locations. Online retailers are quietly adjusting prices upward and pausing promotions on bulk diaper and formula purchases. What should you do now? First, if you rely on baby formula, stock a 4 to 6 week supply immediately. Choose shelf-stable, powdered options that store longer. Always rotate and check expiration dates. If possible, consult with your pediatrician about formula alternatives in case your go-to brand disappears again. For diapers, build a stash now. Mix sizes if your child is between sizes. Growth can't be paused during a crisis. Consider adding reusable cloth diapers as a backup if you're in a longer-term prepping mindset. They require water and detergent, but in a pinch, they are better than having none at all. Pro tip, baby wipes and rash cream are also at risk. Stock them together as part of a baby essentials module in your prep plan. Because when shortages hit, stores prioritize demand for adult staples. But babies? They still need food, hygiene, and comfort every single day. And you can't improvise formulas or diapers out of household scraps. That's why these items aren't just about convenience, they're non-negotiable. And if they vanish again, the scramble will be immediate and intense. Stock up now, before the headlines remind everyone else to do the same. Number 4, portable fans and cooling towels. As summer heat ramps up, so does the demand for portable cooling gear, especially battery-operated fans and cooling towels. These items seem like simple comfort products, but in the middle of a heat wave or blackout, they quickly become survival essentials. And the closer we get to June, the faster they'll start disappearing from store shelves. Here's the problem. Portable fans rely heavily on small electronic components, especially lithium batteries and micro motors, which are still facing global production delays. Major manufacturers have already issued warnings about limited shipments for summer 2025, prioritizing commercial clients over retailers. Combine that with high demand in southern states and wildfire-prone regions, and the inventory crunch becomes real, fast. Cooling towels, on the other hand, are made from specialized synthetic materials designed to retain and slowly evaporate moisture. But they're not produced domestically in large numbers. Most are imported from China and Southeast Asia, regions still grappling with delayed cargo and raw material shortages. That's led to fewer shipments and rising prices already visible in outdoor and sporting goods stores. Why do these items matter so much? Because when the power goes out, air conditioning disappears. And for people with chronic conditions, small children, or the elderly, heat exhaustion can escalate into heat stroke quickly. A battery fan and cooling towel could mean the difference between staying alert and collapsing from overheating. Here's what to do. Buy your gear before June 1st. Get at least one battery-operated or rechargeable fan per person in your household. Look for models that run on USB power banks as well as AA or D-cell batteries, so you have charging options. For cooling, towels, buy 2 per person. One can be soaking while the other is in use. Pro tip, Store fans and towels with your emergency blackout kit, next to flashlights, power banks, and water. When the grid fails, you'll want access within seconds. Also consider, use cooling towels as a makeshift ice pack or wrap for stored. Water bottles to cool your neck and wrists. Their versatility makes them more than just gear. They're non-electric climate control in your hands. Because when the heat hits and the power dies, comfort isn't a luxury. It's a form of protection. And by the time others start looking for relief, these shelves will already be empty. Act now and stay cool when the grid goes hot. Number 5. Charcoal and propane canisters. Summer means grilling, camping, and outdoor cooking. But in a crisis, charcoal and propane aren't about recreation. They're about off-grid survival cooking. And these fuel sources are already on track to disappear fast before June 5th. Here's why. Every year, demand spikes in late spring as millions of households dust off their grills and fire pits. But 2025 is shaping up to be different. Ongoing manufacturing slowdowns, increased demand from RV and off-grid communities, and a tightening supply chain around compressed gas cylinders are converging to make propane and charcoal harder to find sooner. Propane, especially in the 1ENLB, green canisters used for camping stoves and portable grills, is already seeing early shortages. Big box retailers in several regions have started limiting purchases per customer due to supply concerns. Bulk 20lb tanks are still widely available, but may become harder to refill as demand increases and delivery routes get prioritized for industrial buyers. Charcoal is facing its own issues. Much of it comes from global suppliers, and transportation costs have spiked. On top of that, a growing number of municipalities have started placing limits on open flame cooking during fire season, prompting a last-minute buying rush from consumers trying to stock up early. So what's the plan? If you rely on propane for camping, grilling, or off-grid cooking, buy your refills now. Don't wait for the summer sales or Father's Day weekend when shelves get wiped out. If you use charcoal, grab sealed bags and store them in waterproof bins. A single 16lb bag can cook several meals if used wisely. Pro tip: don't just stock fuel, practice using it efficiently. Learn to cook with minimal flame and adjust your heat management. This saves fuel and helps you ration better if the shortage stretches longer than expected. Also consider adding an alcohol stove or solar cooker as a backup. Fuel flexibility is survival gold when everyone else is stuck waiting for the next restock. Because when the power goes out and stores go dark, you'll still need to boil water, cook meals, and heat essentials. And if you don't have fuel, your food storage means nothing. That's why charcoal and propane aren't summer luxuries. They're survival fuel, and you'll either buy them now or watch them vanish when you need them most. Number 6. Shelf-stable milk, UHT and powdered. Milk is one of the most consumed household staples, but it's also one of the most perishable. That's why in any crisis, shelf-stable milk, whether UHT cartons or powdered, is the first to vanish. It's not just a prepper product anymore. Families, travelers, schools, and even hospitals stock it for reliability. And now, as we approach June, a perfect storm is forming. The dairy industry is under pressure. Rising feed costs, unpredictable weather, and export restrictions in dairy-heavy countries are creating price spikes and production delays. In early 2025, reports out of New Zealand and parts of Europe signaled major slowdowns in milk powder output due to low rainfall and feed shortages. That translates to less product, fewer exports, and higher global demand. Meanwhile, domestically, UHT milk, those small, non-refrigerated cartons you see in prepper aisles or school lunch kits, is all becoming harder to restock. Retailers prioritize fresh milk because it moves faster and makes room on shelves. Shelf-stable milk gets less attention until a crisis hits, then it's gone in a flash. Why is it important? Because shelf-stable milk is versatile, compact, and easy to use. Powdered milk can last up to 20 years when sealed, and UHT cartons last 6 to 12 months without refrigeration. That's invaluable when fridges fail, grocery trips stop, or water becomes scarce. Add it to your coffee, cereal, baking, mashed potatoes, or emergency shakes. Give it to kids who need protein and calcium, and use it as a calorie extender in lean food situations. 10 cans of powdered milk makes several gallons, stretching your food supply without taking up fridge space. What should you do now? Buy at least a 1-month supply per person. Combine both forms. Powdered for long-term storage, UHT cartons for fast-use rotation. Store in cool, dark spaces to extend shelf life. Pro tip: if you dislike the taste of reconstituted powdered milk, use it as an ingredient, not a drink. In baking or savory dishes, most people can't tell the difference, because when shelves go empty and fresh milk spoils, what's left is what you stored ahead of time. And shelf-stable milk isn't just backup, it's nutrition insurance, ready when you need it most. Number 7. Over-the-counter allergy meds. They're small, affordable, and easy to ignore until you don't have them. Over-the-counter allergy medications like loratadine, Claritin, cetirizine, Zyrtec, diphenhydramine, Benadryl, and nasal sprays are among the quietest disappearing essentials each spring. And by the time June 5th rolls around, many stores will already be out of stock. Here's why. Spring and early summer are peak allergy seasons, especially in regions hit by high pollen counts and wildfire smoke. In 2025, pollen forecasts have hit early and hard, and respiratory issues are compounding due to environmental stressors like poor air quality and rising temperatures. At the same time, the pharmaceutical supply chain is under enormous stress. Generic OTC medications rely on global ingredient suppliers, particularly from India and China, and those pipelines have been strained due to increased demand for both prescription and non-prescription drugs. The result? Inconsistent restocking and regional shortages that force consumers to bulk buy or pay inflated prices online. Allergy meds are critical not just for those with seasonal allergies, but for anyone who may be exposed to dust, mold, pet dander, smoke, insect bites, or other irritants in a survival situation. When windows are open during a blackout or when sleeping in alternative shelters, allergy triggers can multiply fast, and you'll want relief on hand. So what's the move? Stock a 90-day supply of your preferred antihistamines, decongestants, and sprays now. Keep them in cool, dry storage and rotate regularly. Most have a shelf life of 1-2 years unopened. Don't forget topical creams for skin reactions and allergy eye drops for relief when environmental irritants become overwhelming. For children, buy appropriate doses or liquid forms. And if anyone in your household has severe allergies, now's the time to refill EpiPens or emergency prescriptions. Pro tip, store extras in your vehicle's glove box, go bags, and first aid kits. They're lightweight and may be hard to find if you're forced to relocate or travel during a crisis. Because when the shelves go bare and sneezing turns into swelling or hives, the last thing you want is to be searching drugstore aisles. That's why OTC allergy meds aren't just for spring sniffles. They're a frontline defense against unpredictable environments, and you'll only miss them when they're already gone. Number 8. Bug spray and mosquito repellents. Most people think of bug spray as a summertime afterthought, but in a real crisis, especially one involving grid failure, outdoor sheltering, or sanitation issues, mosquito and insect control becomes a public health essential and one of the first things to disappear from shelves. Here's the issue. As temperatures rise and humidity increases, so does the mosquito population. And in 2025, forecasts are already predicting above-average insect activity across most of North America, particularly in flood-prone and wildfire recovery areas. With more people spending time outside, whether due to power outages, travel, or summer recreation, the demand for bug repellent is about to skyrocket. At the same time, global supply chains for active ingredients like DET, picaridin, and oil of lemon eucalyptus have been disrupted. These compounds are highly regulated and sourced in limited quantities, often requiring specific processing timelines and climate conditions. When production slows or gets diverted for industrial uses, like military or disaster relief, consumer shelves pay the price. Retailers are already showing signs. Bug sprays that were once stocked in abundance are now limited to seasonal end caps, with fewer bulk or family-sized options available. And online marketplaces are quietly increasing prices ahead of demand, especially on repellent wipes, sprays, and wearable repellents. So what should you do? Buy at least a 2-month supply per household member, especially if you're in a high-risk region. Look for a mix of DEET-based and DEET-free options to cover different sensitivities. Don't forget bug repellent for kids, pets, and natural options if you're sensitive to chemicals. Also include mosquito coils, citronella candles, and portable repellent diffusers in your kit. These help protect indoor spaces or campsites when sprays aren't ideal. Pro tip, pack bug repellent in every emergency kit, go bag, and glove box. If you need to evacuate or sleep outdoors, you won't want to go one night without it. And remember, this isn't just about itching and discomfort. Insect bites can lead to secondary infections or, in rare cases, transmit viruses like West, Nile, dengue, or Lyme disease. When hospitals are overwhelmed or closed, prevention becomes your best protection. Because in a blackout or emergency shelter scenario, you can't control the bugs, but you can control your prep. And that's why bug spray isn't a luxury. It's a line of defense that disappears exactly when you need it most. Number 9. Toilet paper and paper towels. It might sound like deja vu, but it's real. Toilet paper and paper towels are once again becoming high-risk items. They were the symbols of panic buying in 2020. And while shelves eventually restocked, the factors that caused those shortages never fully went away. Now, as we approach June 2025, all signs point to another wave of quiet but critical demand surges. Here's why it matters. Paper products require a complex web of resources: wood pulp, water, fuel, and high-volume manufacturing equipment. Any disruption in that chain, from logging restrictions to energy shortages, slows down the entire process. And right now, rising energy costs, freight delays, and labor shortages are tightening that web all over again. Distributors are warning retailers, don't expect full deliveries all summer. Certain store brands are already reducing pack sizes or limiting bulk discounts. Warehouses are prioritizing commercial buyers, like hospitals and institutions, over retail locations, especially in urban areas where demand spikes fastest. Why the rush now? June kicks off vacation season, higher travel volumes, more home usage, and the start of storm and wildfire season, which often leads to evacuation buying. That means regional stockpiling is going to spike fast. Toilet paper isn't just about comfort, it's about hygiene, sanitation, and mental morale. And when water service is interrupted or sewage lines back up, it becomes even more important. Paper towels, meanwhile, are critical for cleaning, food prep, medical use, and oil absorption in survival cooking. Here's what to do now. Stock a 4-8-week supply per person of toilet paper and 2 to 3 rolls of paper towels per week. Don't hoard excessively, but buy steadily, especially when sales or store brand options are available. Pro tip: store your supply in sealed bins or plastic bags to prevent moisture damage, especially in basements or garages. And rotate old stock to prevent yellowing or breakdown. Also consider reusable options, cloth wipes or microfiber towels, as long-term backups if shortages persist. These aren't ideal for every situation, but they're better than nothing when shelves are bare. Because once people feel uncertainty, even for a moment, toilet paper becomes the first thing they grab. It's human nature. And that's why, even 5 years later, it remains the ultimate symbol of unpreparedness, or smart planning. Get ahead now, and you won't have to fight for the last roll when it really counts. By the time most people realize these items are gone, it'll already be too late. But you're not most people. You've seen the signs, you've got the list, and now you've got a head start. Don't wait for empty shelves or ration limits to remind you. Take control while you still can. Stock smart. Rotate regularly. And remember, the best time to prepare isn't during a crisis. It's before it even begins. Found this video helpful? Smash that like button. Drop a comment. What's already missing in your area? Or what are you grabbing first? Subscribe now for weekly supply chain updates, smart prep strategies, and survival tools you actually need.